can, and this only increases evil. Bodhisattvas are never greedy, but always contented. Be contented with what we have. Sorry. Okay. Be contented with what we have and seek only wisdom. Okay, when I read through this third realization, I try to figure out how am I going to share on this third realization. In the end, is that actually when I go through the contents of this third realization, actually is so similar to my life lah. Especially the three phases is also how I went through before. It's a phase that a session that before Tzu Chi, after Tzu Chi, and then walking through the path, how my mindset has changed. So you can see from section 1, there is a time that I just graduated. Actually this phase is 15 years of my life. That is when I graduated at the age of 24 years old. Then 15 years of my career. That is because I joined Tzu Chi at the age of 40. So it's from 24 years old till 39 years old. This is the phase that I go through. When I just graduated and I secured a job as an investment analyst in the investment bank. Then you are very much, because you're so young, you're so intoxicated with the glamour of a fund manager, analyst and fund manager, because you're being entertained with a 5-star hotel by clients and by corporates. So your life is really like everything looks so good lah. At the age of 24, you think that life is so luxurious. So you go through that sort of life that, and that's why I say, before I know about Buddhism and Tzu Chi, actually we are living a very ignorant life, because full of enjoyment, well entertained by your brokers, by your clients, and there are lots of enjoyment. Everything is the best. Like say, we can have a meal. There's at that time the 15, or should say 20 years ago that is a meal can cost 1,000 plus. Then you love to eat all these like sashimis at Japanese restaurant. Wow, I think, wow, what is sashimi? Wow, it's so much enjoyment.
I got class.
Sorry? Yeah. Yeah, so then later on is that you can, sorry, because I this one. Okay, yeah, sorry, I just can't. Okay, then because as you grow your career, as you build your career, then from an analyst you become a fund manager. So you'll be managing funds by the millions and billions, So you'll be very well, how you call it? Of course, there is a price to pay when you manage people's fund. There is expectation that you are supposed to hit the highest return in the shortest time. So practically my life for the 15 years is to chase performance every year. And better still is I can win all the time. But I say I was also chasing after status, because the money is so good. You also go after name, because you can be famous and you appear in the newspaper. Your view will always be sought after by the press. But then when in the process of hitting your target and chasing for performance, actually you're full of fear, because every position that you take, every investment that you take is you're taking a risk. So sometimes because of pressure to perform against your peers, so there's a tendency to want to outperform. You have to take a bit more risk. So as you know, of course, this realization it comes when I joined Tzu Chi and know more about Dharma. Then all this chasing, that even your number one for few years, but you cannot live up to it because the pressure is so tremendous and the fear is, because you're so fearful of losing. So you can't sleep. Then you every time you have to, like, say, for us, you have to watch Dow Jones all the time, right? So US market all the time. So you practically don't have peace of mind even to sleep. Then also there's never enough. So I think exactly in the in the book, you can see in the Sutra, it said that our heart, you cannot fulfill all our desires. So the desires are so strong for wanting to earn more, make more money. Actually, you can do a lot of things. That's why your mind is never at peace. You will find ways and means to how you want to hit your targets. So also, like I say, practically, like, we are chasing after money every day lah. Actually, chasing money is a very tough job because you have to think of so many ways how to make the money. So it's full of suffering when you chase after money. A lot of desires, and desires also very difficult to fulfill. And there are a lot of friction along the way. So as a high flyer, then I was also pursuing a very luxurious life. Having too much money at a very young age, I didn't know how to value money. So money to me is easy come, easy go. So it's so you don't know how to cherish the value of money and actually what you can do with the money. So you're actually beholden to money as well. And I didn't even realize that actually I'm depleting my past blessing because I didn't put effort even to create more blessings. So actually, like all good things must also come to an end. So at the age of 39, I had a very big setback in my life. Okay, this one, I have to explain a bit this because in the process of chasing money, so you also tend to be superstitious. So because that at the time is that I think feng shui was very, very hot topic. I think there's a Lillian Tu emerged from a corporate, become a feng shui lady. So because Lillian Tu can write so well because he's writing in English. So because he can't read Chinese. So when he write in English, that actually I got blinded, or I got so deluded that I believe in feng shui. So what I did is that I buy all sorts of this. Actually, whatever you see in the picture, I have it at home. I have it and I will display in my office. I will do. Then I got so carried away. Then in a year, every beginning of the year, I will spend a few thousand just to buy all these things. So you just follow the book, what she told us. So actually, I got scolding from my mother, but I said I don't care, but I still buy. So actually, if you look back, it's so stupid, you know. Why am I so carried away? But then that time, because you wanted to chase, because when it comes to feng shui, not the natural thing you want is money again. I talk about money again. So also we don't realize that everything good and bad also there's impermanence and can take place, and also working of the negative karma. So I have spent so much money. Indeed, I should have just used it to donate, you know. But I didn't. I spent it on this and then I display it in my whole house. My mother also got angry. Okay. So that come to a point that, I thought my office also full of this as well. I said, oh my God, if you think that so silly. But that was then, that's why it's called a deluded life that I gone through. So when, so at the age of 39, actually I hit a very big setback in my life. But that also, maybe like say, if I look back, I can't hear. Can you hear? Can you hear? You say can't hear.
Can hear, sister.
Yeah. Okay. Can. Okay. So when this deluded life happens, so a deluded. Okay. Then from this first decision, so what is my realization when I reflect back? Is that life changing is actually is full of suffering, because on the surface everybody say, oh, your life is so good because you can do so many things. But in actual fact, it's not. It's really, if you now look back and reflect back, wow, it's caused real suffering. Because there's no end, no beginning. The only rest day we have is only called 1st of January. Then everything will start to reset. then you got to chase another year of performance. Well, so you have to think, where is the money to come from again? So it's actually it's very tough. And you will never have a peace of mind. So anxiety always with you. So because of this fear of losing what we have. So I truly, reflecting back, I truly repent that living in such a life and also did not make use of my time to properly to benefit the society. Then too much craving, because actually, like say, we always have good food. Then I was not a vegetarian. So actually, I love to eat cockles. I love to eat salmons. Wow, I really love all those. Wow, and I think I feel so proud that I'm able to eat all this food. So, so 忏悔so bad that
sudah datang. Jam 4 sudah lebih. Jadi 11 kita sudah masak-masak ya, Pak. Masak-masak kasih situ. Packing saja itu.
Okay. So now I look back is that actually I truly live an ignorant life, which brings so much suffering and created also negative karma. So this is my own realization and also my own realization. Yeah. So the next one, okay, this one, the 金色 aphorism, actually, I got it from Sister Yvonne. Just that day that Sister Yvonne, actually, he shared this 金色. I find it so meaningful. Yeah, this 金色 aphorism is very meaningful. He said that it's a sum up of what I was before I joined Tzu Chi and living a deluded life. He said that a never satisfied person could not escape the suffering of an empty soul, even if he enjoyed the most luxurious material life of this world, which is very, very true. That you really you can't have a peace of mind. Your mind is always it's so scattered and feel fearful. Wow, this life is, and now I look back and say it's a blessing of disguise that I have a setback. Wow, I'm so glad that I managed to get out from that burning house. I call it burning house or something like that. So I'm very grateful for what I say. Sometimes is that setback that happened to us may not necessarily be bad, but of course at that point it's really horrible because you lost everything. So it's truly not easy to go through, but glad that I have a benefactor, virtual friends that introduced me to Tzu Chi. Okay, the second session is that I joined Tzu Chi and what's my realization. Okay, I joined Tzu Chi in 2007. Actually, after I left my job as a fund manager. So it's also at the time that a period that I hit the lowest point of my life. Because you got so much for almost 15 years and just lost it in a matter of a year. Yeah. Lost both money and name, everything gone. So then I don't understand the working of karma. Thus that life was miserable when I lost it. But fortunately I have very supportive parents. So able to overcome. At least I didn't go cuckoo. I didn't go into depression. So only I think a few months after I left the job, then this virtual friends is also my muji. So she actually introduced Tzu Chi to me. So I'm very, one door closes, another door open. Yeah. So in Tzu Chi, I learned about simplicity of life. Because as I walk, John Tzu Chi had to go for charity cases, seek charity cases. So you see people are so happy even they don't have a lot of money. So they are spiritually rich, although materially they are poor. So this gives me a lot of reflection and say, hey, people, especially when you go through their salary, you only have 1,500 for a month, then 1,500 or sometimes 1,000. But I see that they are quite happy. They still live through. Why am I so miserable? So what have I lost? Yeah, maybe I lost a job, maybe a terrible job, but maybe on the other hand I got something good in return. So actually the key lies are with being contented. Actually, contentment is so important. So even now also I'm facing, every day like I say, it's a job that I face money. So facing with fall and rise, and it all come in dollar and cents. Having a calm mind is very important, and having the right principle, applying the right principle also very important. So how to let go, yeah. So, and understanding that desire actually will destroy us. So involvement in Tzu Chi actually broaden my heart and cleanse my inner mirror. Actually, give me time to reassess what is the direction of my life and what is the value of my life. Do I want to carry on this miserable thing that you chase performance? So, but it takes me many years. Not that I step into Tzu Chi, I get realization immediately, but but it's along the way, step by step, that I learn to let go. Look at things in a simpler manner. Be happy with what I have. Yeah. So you ask yourself, is that pursuing name, status, are they so important? What should be my goal in life? So I really want to have a peace of mind. And I also have to learn to achieve all this, I have to learn to let go and be contented. So it takes time, really takes time to understand this. But like I said, fortunately that we have Shin Pa Xiang. Along the way that we got deeper understanding of the Dharma, then actually this come without realizing one. That is, one by one that you learn how to let go. And I become, of course, I become a better person than then. So those who know me then, I was a very hot-tempered person. So even my parents are scared of me. But because every time I come back, I only got sour face because if the day that market gone wrong, they better don't touch me. They don't talk to me because I can be very horrible. Yeah. But now because I learned to let go, I take it easy. Because I know what is my direction in my life. A market can be up, can be down, but as long as I found my own samadhi, I will find my own samadhi. So I adopt a lot of the simple Dharma in practicing in my daily life. And in my job, I said in my job, I face so many type of people, the greedy one, the stingy one, there's so many types. So I will always use various type of Dharma to purify their mind. So if I got chance, I will definitely talk to them in a language that they understood. So like Master said that we have to find, there's so many ways. So what is the best way to influence them? Yeah. So so step by step, I learn to let go, be contented, and then practice generosity. So so the next one. Okay, then the section 3 is yes. No? Yeah. So in this section 3 is that we talk about is that when a person is contented, that we'll be contented with what we have, and we seek only wisdom. So it's true, because I contented with what I have, and generally then I enjoy my work, and I get to meet people. Along the way, I can purify, especially the corporate captains. So those people that I meet. So I always tell them what is a good way to manage, best way to treat their staff well, how to be sincere in your business, practice honesty and sincerity in your business. So so along the way, I also gain wisdom. So actually, liberalization of the mind is a true blessing for me, as I can break away from living a deluded life. I'm no longer superstitious. I believe in the working of karma. So because once you are too tied up, means superstitious, everything you can't do, everything being tied up, and I actually also being so afraid of breaking some taboo. So I believe in doing good deeds to accumulate good merits. I'm more in control of my life and will not be dragged down by, in this case, is that whatever external environment changes, I remain quite, I know how to dissect it, rationalize it, and know what's the underlying principles. Then I'll be very, I'm quite okay, you know, that I can overcome all these difficulties. So now I'm more at peace, knowing what I'm doing. I love money. I truly love money, but not to the extent of being greedy. Money also has its own use. So, but as long as I'm doing the right thing that benefit others. So keep observing precepts as they're meant to protect us. That's why I have to emphasize this, that actually this time, the COVID-19 that happened, actually precepts that have protected me. Because I observed the precept very strongly, actually it has helped me. When COVID-19 hit, I'm not hurt at all. Yeah. So if you keep the Dharma in our heart and practice them in our daily life, I think we can have a peace of mind. And every challenge that meet is dealt with a calm mind and business as usual. 如常啦, just like it's usual. So we shouldn't let external environment difficulty to influence our mind. So a short reflection on COVID-19. COVID-19 in the financial market wise actually is a black swan. Nobody foresee it. The bad impact that can bring to the market, to the economy. So this is even worse than a global financial crisis. Because I met so many crises. But this is even worse than global. They say that it's even go to Great Depression in 1930s. So in view of this serious impact on the economy and the financial market, of course I'm not spared. But because I know that the impermanence of life, and money can be lost and it can be earned, but we cannot look at it in a so seriously like that. So I learned how to let go. I noticed that I'm handling this current situation so much calmer, I have better wisdom because a lot of people came and consult me. They came and consult me, and actually because I give them I am like an anchor to them. I calm them down. You don't panic, you just. So actually, I'm also very surprised that I could give this advice to the younger one who have not seen a crisis. Because so in this sense that because of the learning of the Dharma, working on it, practicing it, I become an anchor of stability for a number of the fund managers and also friends. And also I said also corporate captains as well. So being also like because I accepted, like I say, I accept changes that are happening to me. Actually, every day I accept changes. So we take changes as normal because life is supposed to be that way. You always face changes. There's no such thing as being stagnant. And being engaged Tzu Chi also leaves me no time to think of so many unnecessary things of the future that is beyond our control. So actually, Tzu Chi is teaching us to be a human with a heart. I feel blessed that I still have a job. And that's why I learned how to appreciate my blessings. If previously I would look at what are the things I lost. And I always learn at what I have gained. Like in this case, I actually, I work from home and then I still have a salary. I can still do Tzu Chi. So don't you think that I also feel so blessed that COVID-19, everybody told me it's so bad, horrible out there, But I say, I'm passing it quite well. Okay. And I have then I think of all my virtual friends. I have no worries over food. I have no worries about, about things. I said, I'm so sufficient, So I learn to, I cherish what I have and treasure the blessing to cultivate and plan for the future. In summary, actually, true suffering when we don't know how to be contented and full of greed. That greed really have to be removed. That's why now I look at things because I am still involved in the stock market. So because that is also my job. Every day I see money come, money go. So of course there are always a missed opportunity. So I always tell myself, I don't have it, it's fine. If I learn to be that way, then I feel happy. Because every time you say I miss certain things and I can't get it, I feel miserable. I think there's no end to suffering. So learning how to be contented is so important. So actually, like say suffering, like losing money, not making enough money, having too much money, not enough. Ayo, that's a lot lah. No, every day we get to hear all this, but because we know our direction, so we are not easily influenced by the external changes. With Dharma, actually, we learn how to be contented, eliminate affliction, and contribute to society. Kan'an, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I completed.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
That was. I think that was okay. That was great. We get to hear your life story and your reflections. Okay. I see that there are other contents after this, but you didn't go through that, huh?
Did I?
Yeah, I think you quickly go through that, but that's okay. I was reading into your story, how 15 years as a fund manager, because I know when I was graduating, there were a lot of students, a lot of classmates from our econ major and finance major. They're going into the IB, and IB is one of the hottest at the time. I think it was the early 2000s, likely the time that you're about to depart in 2007. But I graduated around year 2000. That's the year everybody was into IB, and they were going for the 100-hour week, where they're just almost like working nonstop, and they were competing. And I wonder how they were able to live a life, and they were just all competing. And you were, you know, at the top, right? You're at the top of the of the cloud, and you were outperforming everybody. And at that time, it was truly a different sight. But thank you for giving us that perspective, you know, having that, and then being able to have a stop. Can you imagine what is considered to be lucky, right? If you were able to be so fortunate that you continue your career as a top performer, where would you be? And
I'll go cuckoo. Gone.
Exactly. And sometimes people don't realize what is considered to be fortunate. And so when you're thinking about all the feng shui, you know, I am just joking. I'm just joking. Okay, I don't mean this. But
agree.
But perhaps some of these feng shui did help you by bringing you the untimely end in 2007, so that you will be able to see another beginning. Because without end, how would there be a new beginning? You know, without the death of the past self, how would there be a newborn of the future self, like the you now, right? So I think perhaps you did something right, and that allowed 2007 to set in, you know, and from then on, 13 years now, you are transformed. You know, I think you are still very, from our very limited interaction, you're still very quick to react. I think that's your habit, right? You speak very fast, right? That's you. But I can see that, you know, you are a very wise person, because you have such vast understanding and interaction with people. And as you mentioned, right, you were at the pinnacle of what is the A realization I've been talking about, which is desire. The first two realizations that we talked about had always been about, the first one was about impermanence, right? And the second one, it seems so long ago. I think it was like 3 weeks ago or something. It was about desire, how the desire will get us into trouble, right? And this week, once again, it's about desire as well. However, I think the difference is, it's just like your transformation. I think it was great that you're the one that picked up the third realization.
Yeah, I was surprised. How come I picked this one?
Yeah, it was almost like it was there, right? It was meant to be you. And
Yes.
the third realization was really talking about not just the desire, but the active way to get out of it. See, the second realization was only talking about, the first one was talking about impermanence, right?
Yeah.
And then it starts to tell you, you need to observe the impermanence. That's how you get away from the cycle of unending suffering, okay? The second realization arises from your observation, and you begin to understand that all these tiresome reincarnation of life and death, of unending cycle of all these suffering, it comes out because of the greed and the desire. And so it tells you, if you are able to reduce such greed and desire, you will be able to be at ease and in peace. That second realization was only half the story, right? It tells you that if you reduce it, then you're at ease. But the third realization today, if you look at it's actually in pairs, right? So the first one tells you that our heart is never content. And then the second part, in the bodhisattva part, it tells you that the bodhisattva is always content. So it tells you a comparison between the two, a contrast. And then the second phrase tells you that people are always seeking for more. And then the bodhisattva's part, second part, tells you that the bodhisattva is able to safeguard, is able to set fast at whatever he has. And the most important part comes from here was able to uphold the precept and uphold the teaching. And then the third part is for ordinary beings, we continue to do negative things and bring on the negative karma. And then for the bodhisattva, the third part is we pursue the wisdom. And I think this is a little bit deviate from the second realization. Second realization only tells you that if you're able to reduce the desire, you will be at ease. But the third realization tells you, not only do you have to reduce the desire, and you can hold on to whatever you have and be content, but you need to pursue wisdom. You need to continue to hold on to the teaching and pursue wisdom. I think the third one is beginning to take a turn. This is how I see it. So from your perspective, this is exactly what happened, right? 2007, it hits you. And that's the time that it confronts you to really see that it's not going to be happy-go-lucky all the time. You're not going to be able to be at the top pinnacle of the game of this all the time, right? So you need to cut back. You need to accept the losses. You need to accept that it's not going to be there. But then the journey beyond that is a continued journey to pursue wisdom, which I think is the turning point. It's not just hitting the bottom. Sometimes people just stay at the bottom, right? Stay at the bottom is not what we want. You need to be able to turn the corner and say, I can do better than this, but not going back to the game and outperform, but rather getting into another game. And this is the game that is not going to stop. This is the game of finding the truth and finding the wisdom. So I think this is really wonderful. Now, if I may point into the part of the book, and really, this is pointing out to everybody, not just to Sister Sui-san, but to everybody. I think Master particularly calls out. There were many stories in here, right? Particularly about the stories about the husband and wives, about the mother and the daughter, and the mother and the son, and all of that. But there's a particular part in here that I really wanted to bring out is Master talks about in the very beginning, Master talks about that do not think for a moment that when you wake up 3 o'clock in the morning and then you're able to go tend to your everyday routine, going to Zao Ke and all of that. That is called cultivation. And I think that hits all of many people, on the head, especially people here at the abode. Do not think for a moment that just by being able to hit a routine, that you are doing cultivation. So I think this is something, a warning call to everybody. Do not think that just because that you're now waking up in the morning, you know, going to listen to the morning Dharma talk, that means you're already cultivating. I think there's much more than that. Master told us to remind yourself, reflect on yourself. Is this the same as what you were inspired, your original aspiration to be? And if it's different already, and if you're just doing this because it's part of the routine, then this is not cultivation. You know, if you're just getting used to it, right? It's like 感恩. You say it all the time because it's already
will take the lead.
you know, it's already becoming a something that you say when you have nothing to say, and then you just say, oh, 感恩啊, 感恩啊. But it's not really 感恩 anymore. So I think this realization, out of this realization, Master is also pointing out to us that what is considered to be cultivation isn't just something that it's already routine. I remember one time that one of the master told me that I used to, you know, we used to share about what we listen in the morning Dharma talk, and I would tell Master that, hey, you know that today Master Jingen's talk, I was almost able to predict what Master was going to say. And I felt good about it. You know, it almost seems like I knew what she was going to say. And so this master told me, right, this master of the abode, Jinse Sifu, told me that don't be so happy about this. You knew what Master was going to say only because you heard it so many times. It didn't come from the heart. It didn't come from your wisdom thinking that that was what the audience needed. You were just following the pattern. It was just an observation of the pattern. It wasn't because you realized that the audience needed this at this time. And out of the compassion, you realized that that's what they need to hear. And it coincided with what Master said. And that was a wake-up call for me as well. You know, if you're just following something out of the routine, that was only because that was a routine. That was something that you do, just like you're having breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That didn't do anything. But when you begin to realize you're having breakfast, lunch, and dinner, because number one, it's part of what you need to do as opposed to the precept. Part number two is that you need to keep your body health so that you could do more. See, it's so much different now that if you think about it, it's not just because it's a routine that you're following, but rather it is something that you do because the purpose of doing that serves so much greater than when you're just following a routine. So when this Shifu told me that if I was able to detect, to realize that the people that's hearing the talk right now, what they need at that moment is this particular speech. And I thought that that's what needed to be spoken. And that is exactly the same thing that Master said. Then good, then maybe our rhythm, my rhythm, and Master's rhythm would be the same. But if you're just picking it up because you're used to it, because this is a pattern that you observe, no, then you're not there yet. So I think this is something that as a cultivator, as a practitioner, as all of us who are learning the Dharma, it is so easy to sort of fall into pattern. It's so easy to be to see this as knowledge, but rather when trying to dissect or trying to analyze, like I did, a particular teaching, that we forgot why it was spoken in the first place. And we're only seeing the result and analyzing the result. And then obviously hindsight is 2020, that everything makes sense. But why did the master say this? Why did the master had to, at this moment, say this particular thing? Now, if we can arrive at the same result, then I think on some levels, we are sharing the same rhythm and following the same beat. So I think that's something that I wanted to bring out as something that that really impacted me while I was reading this part. So I encourage everybody, to go back to that part and read about this. If you are helping people out of habit, okay, if you're helping people out of your habit, that's not a bad thing, right? But is that the same as cultivation? Yes, it's foster good affinity. Yes, it is sowing the blessings. But what is cultivation? What is practicing? Are you attached overly to this? Are you caring so much about a particular, like what Sister Sui-san was talking about, the name and the fame and the wealth? Okay, so now Sister Sui-san is also having a name for herself. Maybe not wealth, but now all the fund managers come to her for help, right? For assistance, right? So now while we're doing this, not out of habit, but is it the same as when we first in 2007, when we have our aspiration that in Tzu Chi we have found the calling of our lives, and I think it's very important. So something like this, like for example, I remember when I was young, and my dad instituted a family rule that all of us, before we go to sleep, we must kiss him goodnight. That's what we do. And how many times did that fall into formality just because we have to? Of course, there were times when, it was really sincere, but how many times did it fall into formality just because we have to? Okay, so once again, I think what Master is talking to us is that the first realization, I think it was talking about observation, knowing the impermanence, knowing that many things are out of our control, knowing and observing is the first part. Seeing the impermanence and knowing that our heart tries to control the things that it can't control, that's the beginning of suffering. The second realization continues to build on that much of our suffering comes from the desire. Once again, trying to control the things that we can't control. And therefore, much suffering comes out of it because it's insatiable. But in the second realization, it tells us that something more is there, right? The first one was only talking about observation. The second one, it began to talk about that if you reduce your desire, then you could begin to be more at ease. But the third one, I think, is a turning point, just like we have Sister Sui-san today. That it's a turning point to tell us not only do we reduce, but also it's time to seek wisdom. Not just reduce the desire, but also seek out wisdom. Not just to fall into the routine of doing something that is good, but seek the wisdom within. Seek the cultivation and the practice within. And I think that's what the third realization is beginning to tell us. So that's why in the fourth and on, we can now begin to see more activity, more active realization, not just observing, not just thinking, not just reacting, but also acting to try to pursue wisdom. So thanks to Sister Sui-san to share with us your very, very valuable and very, very personal stories.
Thank you.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and I take it to my heart. And next time I see you, when I see it's great to see you, it won't be just routine. It will be real, because I know that you. It has always been genuine. But what I meant to say is, it will be a different way of saying it's so nice to see you, because it will be like seeing you post 2007. It will be like,
correct.
It's nice to see you, because I know that before 2007, you were a different Sui-san, and now I'm seeing the Sui-san that is having the wisdom and having the confidence and knowing that this is the right path. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Brother Joe. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cảm ơn